Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Narayanam Padmabhavam Vasishtam Shaktim cha Tatputra Parasharam cha Vyasam Shukam Gaudapadam Mahantam Govinda Yogindra Matasya Shishyam Sri Shankaracharya Matasya Padma Padam cha Hastamalakam cha Shishyam Tam Todakam Vartika Karamanyan Asmadgurun Santatamanatosmi Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. In the next topic, that is Dehasya Ninda, Stula Dehasya Ninda, verse number 87. What is this physical body? That is already stated earlier, what it consists of. So therefore, verse number 87. Tvam mam sarudirasnayu Tvam mam sarudirasnayu Medo majjasti sankulam Purnam mutra purishabhyam Stulam nindyamidam vapuhu Tvang mam sarudirasnayu Medo majjasti sankulam Purnam mutra purishabhyam Stulam nindyamidam vapuhu. Idam vapuhu nindyam, to be censured, not to be ignored. Now, ignoring means letting it go, don't pay attention to it. No. Nindyam is something to be not given too much of importance. Thulyam, Sthulam, that is something which is very gross. It should not be given too much of importance. And Nindyam here to mean not to discard, censure in the form of, as I said, not paying attention or destroying, hating. No. Tucham iti manye. According to the opinion of Bhagavan Shankaracharya, that is tucham. Why it is so? One thing we all know, how much ever you clean it, every day it gets dirty. That's why every day snanam, if not once, if not twice, if not 3 times, at least once, it needs to be kept clean. What does it consist of? Twak, skin. Then mamsa, flesh. Rudiram, blood. Snayu, fat. Meda, marrow. Snayuhu, blood, fat, yes. And then majja. Majja is the marrow. Snayu, the fat. Blood vessel is rudira. And asti is the bone. Tvangmam sarudira snayu meda majja asti. Sankulam, filled with that. So it is nothing but all these various kinds of matter, converted matters. Skin, flesh, blood vessels, fat, marrow, bones, filled with that. Purnam, with what? Mutra purisha bhyam purnam. Mutra, that is the urine. Purisha means that which is fickle matter. Fickle. That's a fickle nahi. Fickle, what is it called? Fickle matter. And it is thulam. It is so gross because nothing but food modified into various forms. So, therefore, idam vapuhu nindyam. The interesting thing is, the food that we eat, when we eat the food, it is so tasty, etc. The same food, when it comes out, how do we treat that? When you put it in the mouth, it is so tasty. It's the same thing when you vomit. Would you look at it even? Or when it goes as a fickle matter? So the food that is gone inside gets transformed into various things. And that is what makes this physical body. So this physical body is nothing but a sustaining instrument for us to sustain our life. That is all its work is. And keeping it healthy, keeping it active, keeping it agile, flexible. Thereby, we don't need to pay too much of attention to it. The required amount of attention must be given to that body. If you don't pay attention to it, take care of it, it becomes a burden. It becomes a great pain. So, snayavaha, shiraha, nadyaha, tatra atyantam jugupsam janayati mutra purishabhyam purnam idi. Na kaschit malamutra bandam spashtam ichchati. Sprashtum ichchati. Nobody wants to touch it, right? Nobody wants to touch with this urine or fecal matter. Nobody wants to touch. But you understand you are carrying it. Externally, if there is a kind of such a fecal matter, will you touch it? You are carrying it in your body all the time. Only when you come out, you realize that it is there. What was before it came out? Where was it? In your own body. So, kudas tatra ahanta idi bhavaha. How can there be a feeling of I with that dirty matter which you don't even want to touch or even think? How can you have ahankara on this physical body which is filled with none other than these things? Ada eva nindyam kutsaha, kutsa arha. Not, very proud of this physical body. Shishtam spashtam. What else is there to say? Everything else is clear. Gurudev used to say that the body is made up of unholy things, as he writes, unholy things, but it is very well packed. It's like Amazon package, little only, but there is so much things, but nicely packed. And you open it, so beautifully packed. And you open, the material maybe is little only. But this physical body is filled with so many perishable things, but packed beautifully to present. So that is why it is Nindyam. So condemnation of the gross body does not mean rejection, but only to know its limitation and its inert nature. Evam tatra vairagya utpattaye, for the sake of creating vairagya in that, tam ninditva, having that censured, purvaradham atmanatma vishvechanam anuvartayati panchikritebhyah iti. To understand how it is anatma vastu, it is not a self, it is non-self. To understand that it is not the self, do not consider that as yourself. For that purpose, the next verse that is given, how is it not the self, that is being spoken in the next verse, verse number 88. Panchikritebhyo bhutebhyah stulebhyah purvakarmana samutpannamidam stulam bhogayatanamatmanah avastha jagarastasya sthularthanubhavo yatah panchikritebhyo bhutebhyah stulebhyah purvakarmana samutpannamidam stulam bhogayatanamatmanah avastha jagarastasya sthularthanubhavo yatah. Purva karmana samutpannam idam sthulam. Purva karmana, according to the past action, this physical body is utpannam, produced. This physical body is purva karmana samutpannam. You have to understand this. Every body is wondering why I am not another body. Why I am this one, I am not other one. Why I experience or expect and enjoy or desire or seek and live in this way and not like anybody else. What is the reason? Purva karmana. Purvam tavat nama adini sukshmani bhutani parasparas amshaihi militani stulani santi stula sharira hetavaha ityuktam. So, according to the combination of 5 elements, their own gross aspects have created this physical body. Now you see, this physical body has got all the 5 elements. It has space, it has air, it has water, fire, and earth. You have a doubt? We know this physical body is made up of earth because food that we eat is from the earth. And the physical body is made up of only that earth element, mainly. Water gives the shape to the body. Without the water, there cannot be any shape in the body. Gurudev used to say, if the water is removed from your body, you will be made into small packet of nothing but matter. Because water is not there. It dries up completely and everything will become powdery. So this is a physical body that is giving us a shape. All right. We have a certain number of temperature, certain kind of temperature always maintained. So that means what? There is heat, fire. And we are constantly breathing. So there is air. And there is a lot of space in our head. Unnecessarily occupying the world. So what is missing? Everything is there. Space, air, fire, water, earth. So there is no doubt this physical body is a product of 5 elements. So now Nabhaadini Sukshmani Bhutani Paraspar Amshaihi Militani Sulani Santi Stula Sharira Hetavas Tyuktam. Now you see, Deva Tiryang Manushyadi Sharira Prabhede Bijamaha Purva Karmana iti. So how is that my body is different from a body of a dog or a cat or a bird or an insect or a mosquito? What makes that body what it has as that? What makes my body what I have as this? Only reason that Hinduism can give is according to your karma. If the karma aspect or the theory of karma is removed from Hinduism, there cannot be bondage at all. See, in Christianity and Islam and other religions, they do not have the concept of rebirth. They do not have the concept of karma leading to the next birth. And therefore, they say even this person body is not anything but God's creation, and your actions have no relevance to this. Nowadays, only in America, they have taken this concept of karma too seriously. Otherwise, they were not ready to accept it. Without the concepts of karma, or the concept of karma, you cannot show why there are differences among the people. Why dog is a dog, cat is a cat, bird is a bird, I am what I am, why you are what you are. On what basis? Why? What is the variety is the reason for the variety. So that I experience certain things and you experience the same thing, but the way we experience is different. What I see is not what you see. Not only according to our culture, background, knowledge, upbringing, but also what we have carried as memories in the past. That makes us see and experience and react to situations in a unique way, different from all others. If that is removed, let us say, then one thing will happen. My actions, I will not become responsible. You see? If I do a thing whose results will not happen in this life, then I can jolly well do and go away. If I kill someone, if I'm not caught, then I die, and when in due course of time, let us say, and the physical body ends and I die. So for the action that I did, which is most sinful, I'm not going to be punished at all. So what do you need to do if you want to kill anybody you want before you die, and then die. Finish, job is over. That's what people do, right? Many of the people who shoot everyone, what do they do finally? Shoot themselves also. Now, what happens to them then? If the body is gone, who is going to suffer the consequence? So, Christianity and Islam, to some extent, they say there is a soul which will be judged at the time of judgment. And if you have done a heinous crime, then you will be sent to hell. So what do they say? You carry the impressions or the result of your action even after you die, correct? Otherwise, how is the concept of hell and heaven will work? On what basis Christ or anybody else will judge your whether you are sinful or otherwise? How? Now, having said this, if the karma of a person is belonging only to the body, then the body is dead. Then who is carrying the karma? Who is carrying the karma? The soul. If the soul is carrying the karma, it is without the body, then the same soul is carrying the karma from the previous body also. But that is not acceptable to them. So whereas in Hinduism, they say what you do today will be the result in tomorrow or next birth, and what you did in the previous birth is resulting is what you are today. So that is why he says here, Purva Karmana. That is the point here puts here. Purva Karmana Samutpannam idam. Devataryang Manusyadi Sharira Vede Bijamaha Purva Karmana iti. Why a person is born, a soul is born as a Devata, or as born as an animal, or as a human is decided by the karma. Punya papam papa mishra anusarena devadi sharira utpattirihiti bhavaha. So according to the mixture of punya and papa, merit and demerit, so will be the kind of body a person takes. If the sins are more than the merits, then such a birth will be of the animals. Because as an animal, you cannot do any action to rectify it. You only experience it. Because there is no karma for the karma can be performed, action can be performed by the animals. Therefore, they only recipient of the result of their sinful actions. And whereas the devatas, the people who are living in higher planes, they also are not eligible for actions. They only enjoy the result of their punya. There also, they cannot engage in any action to increase their punya, merit. Whereas human birth is very unique because here we have a mixture of punya and papa, balanced. So in this birth, we both experience the result of our past merit as well as the past demerits. And we have given a chance to learn that I can do meritorious actions in this world, in this Manushya Janma, and increase my punya, and or I have a choice of not doing that, do the sinful actions and go down. Gurudev used to say it is like when you're climbing a stairs, you climb up and there is a place called landing space. And there you stand, you can choose whether to go up or to go down. Isn't it? At that point of landing space, you can choose whether to do the wrong actions to go down or do the right actions to go up. That is called Manushya Janma. That's why it says Punya Papam Mishra Anusarena Devatiryang Nara Utpattirihdi Bhabaha. Idam Pratyaksha Siddham Atmanaha Jivasya Boga Ayatanam Yad Avachedena Bogaha Jayate Tad Boga Ayatanam. Boga Ayatanam means this physical body is the seat of experience. Ayatanam means seat. Sukha Dukkha Sakshatkara Avachetakam ityarthaha. Where you can experience a place where you experience joy, sorrow, etc. Samutpannam asankarena jatam. What does it mean? Because it is born out of clearly according to the actions of the past, without any mixture in that. Tattat karma anusarena karma phaladata sarvajnaha ishvaraha. Tattat shariram tasmai tasmai dadadi idi sankara shankya na avasaraha idi sam upasargena purva karmana idi pada sahitena jyotitam. Very beautifully put here. See, we think action and the result, the relationship between action and the result is static. Meaning what? In science, what happens is when you use chemical A with chemical B, the reaction is whatever C, let us say. That is not changeable. Can it be changed? If chemical A is mixed with chemical B, the result is chemical C. Whoever does it, it will be the same. It's not I do it, it will be different, you do will be different. It's not possible. So in the scientific laws, the laws are static. They are not dynamic, meaning it is not subject to change. Whereas karma and karma phalam is not static, it is dynamic. In what way? There is the element of divinity or divine law involved. Therefore, there is a hand of the Lord in deciding the result. Who is he? Karma phala data, the giver of the result of action, Ishvaraha. Sarvajnah karmaphaladata Ishvaraha tattat karma anusarena tattat sharidam tasmai tasmai dadadi. So, therefore, interesting thing is the Sankara Shankaya na avasaraha. So, whereas in the case of anything tangible in the world, when we see, according to science, if X action is done, the result is evident and tangible. Whereas when you do an action which is result is adrishyam, unperceptible, then how do you believe that this action will give result? Let me give an example. When you go to a temple, and then the priest says, okay, you do this particular ritual as a karma for the sake of you to get the result. Now, the result is not tangible because you don't see the connection, isn't it? If I put a mango seed into the ground and water it properly, exposed to the sun, then obviously mango tree will come, not apple tree, which I know. That's why I'm putting it there. But the action that is prescribed by the Vedas, whose result is adrishyam, how do I know it will work? That is why it is said, in this kind of matters, the hand of the Lord works in the form of exclusively making sure that a particular action prescribed in the Shastra done by an individual will get the same result without any failure. That is the work, or that is the responsibility of Ishvara. Otherwise, what happens is, it's not decided by the priest. The priest is not deciding what the result should be. Priest is only helping you conduct or complete that work. He is not deciding the result. That's why when we do action, we say, Ishvara Prityartham Karma Karom. I am doing for the pleasure of the Lord. Why? Because you are the data, you are the result giver, and therefore this action I surrender to you. You are not surrendering the action to the result. You are not surrendering action to somebody else. You are surrendering action to the Lord. Why? Because you are the giver of the result. And we completely hope and believe that the Lord is not acting favoritism, doing any favoritism. That's why it says, na avasaraha iti. It is not according to his favorite. He's not playing favoritism there. That is why some is the upasarga given. Samutpannamidam sthulam. That's why he's explaining that. Samyak utpannam. According to your action, see, therefore, what I did in the past life, leading to the present birth, is not decided by somebody else or something else. It is my own action, which I did not even know that I did. But Bhagavan makes sure that you are given the exact body which, according to your karma, you should experience. That's why this body is called Bhoga Ayatanam, a seat for experience. See, when I put a sweet into my tongue, the tongue that is there is a part of the body. Where do I experience sweetness? Even though mind recognizes sweetness, but sweet is placed where? In the body, in the tongue. Sweet is placed in the tongue, but experienced by the mind. So tongue is the seat. It's like when I take a food and put it in the plate, plate is the place where the food is. And then again, from the plate, I put in my tongue. The tongue is the place where the food is, right? So it becomes ayatanam, a seat. Because why I'm saying this is, because next one will come, that is indriyas, that is called karmendriya, jnanendriya, they become bhoga sadhanam. Bhoga sadhanam. Bhoga sadhanam means the instruments of experience. It's like I take the food in a spoon. The spoon is the ayatanam. Spoon is the ayatanam, from where the food is placed. But the experience takes place. Instrument of experience is the senses, like the sense of taste, sense of smell, sense of sight, etc. But where are they placed? They are in the body. So even for the indriyas, the place of their abode is the body. So therefore, bhoga ayatanam. Sukha sakshatkara avachetakam ityartha samutpannam. That's what I explained there. Tasmai okay. Idanim stula deha yadatmatvena abhimanyate tam avastamaha tasya vyavrutatvam atmanaha anuvrutatvam samyak bodhayitva tatra anatmatvam spashtayitum. Having said this stula deha is not the atman. Tasya stula dehasya avastha asadharani bhoga hedutva prayojakaha kalaha jagaraha. When do we actually come to have a total experience of this physical body? In the waking state. Jagra avastha. Indriyaihi artha upalabdhi jagaritam. By the senses, we come to experience the world of object is called the state of waking. Idi lakshana lakshita jagrad avastha ityartha. So, we are, our ahankar, ego, is having 3 stages of experiences. 3 stages of experience. First stage is where it completely identifies with the gross body. As soon as you wake up in the morning, first thing the ahankara does is to recognize, I am the body. Is it not true? Even as you go to sleep with the hunger, during the sleep you never experience it. The moment you wake up, let us say you did not have proper food in the previous night, or you fasted previous night. What do you wake up with? I am hungry. Now, until then, where was it? Hunger was not there. The body was still not having food, but you do not have that feeling of hunger at the time of sleep. Only in the Jagrata Avastha, only in the waking state, the total identification of the body takes place. Immediately the signal goes, I'm hungry. So when do we experience the physical body fully? In the waking state. That's why it's called Indriyehi Artha Upalabdhi Jagaritam. Digadi Abhimani Devata Anugrahida Shrotradi Indriya Grihyamanatvam Shabdadishu. Why it is so in the waking state alone, the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, etc. are all being governed by the specific deities. Like for example, my eyes, Shakshuhu Devata Surya. The presiding deity for my eyes is the Surya. The sun is the presiding deity for my eyes. And the presiding deity for my tongue is Varuna, the Lord of waters. The presiding deity for my nose is Ashwini Kumaras, the 2 twins, which are recognized as the holy twins, who are also the 2 deities who are governing medicine. These 2, the healers, yeah. This is called Ashwini Kumaras. The presiding deity for the ears is Dig Devata, one who is governing space. That's why what happens when you have ear infection, your concept of space changes. You remember some people got vertigo. Vertigo? You know why? Because when this ear, there is a particular sensation in it. When that is disturbed, you cannot stand steady. Your concept, your ability to judge space goes away. So how beautifully they thought about it. See, how do they? We cannot understand the connection between ears and space. They say the space, nature of space is sound. The one which is receiving sound is the ear. So the ear is presided by Dig Devata. Skin is being governed by Vayu. So each of our part of the body is having a presiding deity. So eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, all of them are governed by specific deities. Dig Adi Abhimani, Devada Anugrihita Shotradi Indriya Grihyamanatvam Shabdadishu. But in the case of the dream, Swapane Indriyanam Uparata Vyaparatvat. In the state of dream, since you have withdrawn your attention from the physical body, thereby withdrawn attention from the senses, Vasanamayanam Shabdadinam Devada Anugrihita Indriya Grihyamanatvam Nasti. Therefore, because you have already withdrawn from the physical body, all the external world of experiences which happens through the sense organs are also absent. Therefore, this during the physical state, during the waking state, Stula Shariram is the most important. Yataha Yasmat Shula Sarirat Tatra Abhimanat Stula Artha Anubhavaha Tataha Tatkaranat Tasya Stula Dehasya Jagradavastha Atyartaha. Therefore, this gross body is most experienced during the waking condition. That is the idea here. Avastha Jagradastasya Stulartha Anubhavo Yataha. That's why it is Jagradavastha is Stula Artha Anubhavaha, experience of the gross object. Continuing in the next verse number 89. Bahyendriyestu Stula Padartha Sevam. Okay. Bahyendriyestu the Padartha. Which book you are having? But I have the same book. What is written? Phala? Thala. Stula Pada.
Instead it's saying Sthala. I think it's
Stula instead of Stula. Okay, Sthala. Bahyendriye Stula Padartha Sevam.
Bahyendriye Stula Padartha Sevam.
Rakchandanastriyadi Vichitrya Rupam.
Rakchandanastriyadi Vichitra Rupam.
Karoti Jiva Swayamedadatmana.
Karoti Jiva Swayamedadatmana.
Tasmat Prashastir Vapushosya Jagare.
Tasmat Prashastir Vapushosya Jagare.
Bahyendriye Stula Padartha Sevam Srakchandanastriyadi Vichitrya Rupam Karoti Jiva Swayamedadatmana Tasmat Prashastir Vapushosya Jagare. Jivaha Karoti. What? Swayameva etat atmanam swayameva etat atmana. By himself, a jiva does what? Padartha sevam karoti. Stula padartha sevam karoti. Padartha seva means experiencer of the gross objects with what? Bahya indriyahi, with external organs. And what are the kind of padartha that he experiences? Srak, Chandana, Stri, Adi Vichitra Rupam. Srak means garland. Chandana means sandal paste. Stri means opposite sex. Here the women. Adi Vichitra Sevam, of Vichitra Rupam, of the different kinds of experiences he comes to have with the help of the external organs. Jiva Karoti. Swayameva Edat Atmana, by himself. Tasmat, therefore, Asya Vabushaha, of this body, Sharjagare Prashasti. Therefore, waking state, it is overly overly given importance. Enhanced importance is given for this, as Gurudev puts the meaning for that is as the greatest play in the waking state. Prashasti means very well known. So here, Bahya Indra, if you look at it, Stula Dehatmano Manodvara Stula Sharira Pradivalita Swarupena Stula Sharira Adhyasta Atma Bhavena Iti Yavat Swayam Karoti. Oneself is able to experience all these things through his own gross Bahya Indra. Why it is called Bahya, external organs? Because all our sense organs like eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, etc. are constantly in touch with the external world and the recipients of the external stimuli. Gurudev used to say, sense organs are like the external visitors. Let us say you have an office. In that office, there is a receptionist sitting there. What is her job? Taking phone calls, meeting the visitors, right? So a visitor comes, ex-visitor comes. And he says, I want to talk to your CEO or manager, whatever. So what will she say? Wait, I want to see whether he is available or not. Then she takes a phone and calls the manager. Are you available? Yes. Okay, now you can go. So what is the role of that very receptionist there? Receiving. Receptionist means receiving the guests, answering them accordingly. And Gurudev used to say that the receptionist's job is to constantly make sure that she not only receives the information from the external visitors, but also checking with the boss to make sure that the proper information is passed on. In the same way, mind is the receptionist and intellect is the boss. But mind, what does it do? What does it do? It is constantly in touch with the sense organs to receive information. The mind cannot decide whether right or wrong. Can it decide? The receptionist has no authority to say, no, he will not meet you. Or he will meet you right away. You are important. You are not important. She cannot say that. She can only pass on information to the boss. Similarly, mind is that which is acting like an intermediary between sense organs and the intellect. What happens is, in our case, when the intellect is not given importance, the mind starts making decisions. It can decide based upon its own likes and dislikes. Then what happens? It may be very harmful for the entire system. The intellect, called the boss, is not even consulted. The mind takes over everything. That is what we are right now. In spite of our learning, in spite of our understanding, if the mind is given importance, obviously we may take wrong decisions based upon its own whims and fancies. Because mind cannot discriminate. Discrimination is only available for buddhi. Mind is only, that is why it is called chanchalatmakam manah. Mind is so fickle and constantly unsteady. If it is experiencing something pleasant today, that is important today. If it is experiencing something bitter today, it will reject it immediately. Whereas intellect won't do that. You'll say, okay, today it is bitter, but even if it is bitter, tomorrow it is better. Medicine is bitter, but intellect knows this medicine, even though it is bitter, it is for goodness of the body only, for the health of the body only. Whereas the mind will say, it is bitter, I don't want it. Like a child, Child does not have a developed intellect. Therefore, when you give a bitter medicine, what will it do? I don't want it. Why? It's bitter. At that level, intellect not being developed, it cannot discriminate whether it is good or bad. If our mind is associated with the body more than Atman, what decision it will take? Oh, meditation. I will do it when I am retired. I am too young now. It is only 70. When I become 80, I will do it. So because the mind is so attached to the body, it cannot understand, I can reject this so that I can do something else. So that discrimination is not there. And therefore, mind associated with the sense organs external. That's why it says, Bahendriyahi stula padartha sevam srakchandanastrayadi vichitra rupam jivaha karoti. Swayam eva. Swayam edad atmana. By oneself. Where? In the state of waking. Jagare. Tasmat vapuhu Vabushaha asya jagare prashasti. Therefore, the maximum importance of the body is given at the time of waking state, where the mind is very well associated exclusively with the sense organs of perception. So that's why tasmat asya vabushaha stulasya dehasya jagare jagradavastayam prashasti pramukyam. Importance ityartha. Swapna sushuptya ashuptyoho atra abhimanasya abhimanasya eva abhavat iti bhavaha. So in the state of dream and deep sleep, this kind of mind's preoccupation, strong identification with the external organs being absent, the state of experience, the kind of experience that we will have in waking cannot be found in dream and deep sleep. So that is why it is said. So now the example is given in the next verse. Yata kaschitabi loke swiyam griham swatmatvena manute. Atmatvena na manute tata mantavye stuladehe ahanta sutaram na karya iti eva abhiprayena. So just like, see, it gives a beautiful example. You are living in the house, but you don't think you are the house. Correct? Thank God. Otherwise, you can never go anywhere. Even car also. You have a car, you use the car. But if you think you are the car, that is called ahankar. So, yata kaschidabi, nobody in this world, loke swiyam griham, one's own house, swatmatvena na manute. One doesn't think I am the house. Tata, the same way, mantavye stuladehe. Your physical body also should be thought of like that. Ahanta sutaram na karya. Please do not have the idea of I-ness with the body. So that is why it is said. The next verse number 91, 92. Let's see, 1 second. Yes, 90. Correct. 91. 90. Sorry. Because there is a difference between this book which I am referring to for Bhashya and the other one. That's why confusion. Sarvopi bahya samsaraha.
Sarvopi bahya samsaraha.
Purushasya yadashrayah.
Purushasya yadashrayah.
Viddiddehamidam sthulam.
Dehamidam sthulam.
Grihavat grihamedinaha.
Grihavat grihamedinaha.
Sarvopi bahya samsaraha purushasya yatashraya viddiddehamidam sthulam grihavat grihamedinaha. Sarve api, for everyone, sarvopi bahya samsaraha purushasya yad ashrayah idam deham viddhi. Purushasya ashrayah. Only the abode of the person is this physical body. Iti viddhi. Sthulam. Very gross. Grihavat, like a house. Grihamedinaha, for the householder. For the householder, the house is a place of stay. Similarly, for the soul, body is a place of stay. If you don't understand that, majority of the people, 99% of the people, cannot distinguish between soul and the body. And that is the reason why it is so hard for anyone to reject what is even pleasant. Unpleasant they reject easily from the experience. But the pleasant one also should be thought in the same way as the unpleasant things in the world. That is, discrimination is not happening. Anything pleasant, anything pleasurable for the body is at once to be experienced. As much as anything unpleasant for the body, it at present at the very moment is rejected. But actually, according to Vedanta, both should be treated in the same way. Wo bhi jada hai, ye bhi jada hai. That doesn't happen. But therefore, he says, just like a householder lives in the house, but is not the house, similarly, one should understand body also is a place of stay. As Gurudev says, man dwells in his house and goes out daily into the world to serve and for his livelihood. After earning his means of existence, he returns to the house to enjoy what he has earned and rest a while. Rested and refreshed under the security of his house, now he moves out again for the following day, full of energy to meet the challenges of a new day. In the same way, the ego moves out of the physical body to contact the sense objects and returns to it to savor its joys and sorrows. The joy and sorrow resulting from the conducive or unconducive environments is not felt outside of ourselves. They are always felt within, though indeed the objects are always outside. Therefore, the mind has to go out to contact the objects, but having contacted them, it returns to the individual's own heart to experience the consequent joy and sorrow. So the physical body is not only an instrument for experiencing the world outside, but also it's a shelter for the experiencer. So here it's given in the Bhashya very clearly. Bahyendriyaihi, sarvopi, right? Okay. Samsaraha dvivitaha, bahyaha antarascha iti. The worldly experience is of two kinds. One is bahya, outside, another is antaha, inside. Tatra antaraha sukha dukkha kartrutva bhoktruttvadi, bahyaha janma jara marana staulya balyadi. So in the next verse also we'll talk about. The experience in the world is of two kinds. One is inside, another is outside. The inside one is what is called joy, sorrow, and all that. Doer, enjoyer, etc. The external one is birth, old age, sickness, jara, marana, staulya. Now you see, the physical body is the seat of experience. And when the seat of experience no more capable of enjoying the world, what happens? Our idea of joy and sorrow also changes. What we enjoy when we are young, we are not able to enjoy with the same body. A child, what it enjoys at that stage with certain objects is not the same when it grows old. Body is the same. What happens then? The idea of sukham, idea of dukkham changes. So let us say that if you are preparing yourself for a Olympic game, you are an athlete. Your idea of you are wanting to win the athletic game, you have to go through a very vigorous training. Every day you have to run, every day you have to weight lift, every day you have to stretch yourself and all that. Now, it may be a dukkham for the body, for you, but you know the physical body must be made fit to do that. So even though it is painful, but your idea of happiness is in that. Why? Because unless I do this, I cannot experience the joy of winning that particular challenge. So intellect is capable of overruling the mind. When the intellectual conviction comes, the so-called joy and sorrow which a mind expects will be overruled. Sometimes we work very hard for a particular project to complete, maybe 18 hours, 20 hours work, making sure that we complete the job. At that time, the intellect overrules. Mind, you may say, whatever, I am not going to sleep. I want to finish this work. Is it not? Whereas that maturity of the intellect is not there, then a person settles down for immediate joys and pleasures. So, Bahya samsara is based upon what the body expects. But Antar samsara, it depends upon what the mind dictates or the intellect dictates. So, for example, Jara, Marana, Vyadi, Ityadi, that experience, no matter what you do, it will happen with the body. You cannot stop that. But whether you want to enjoy or suffer, all of that is decided by how mature is the mind and intellect. So that's why it's two. Prasiddham kalu loke ekam griham ashritya vartamanaha kalatradikam arjayati. Nahi grihasya api abhave vivahado prayatate kaschit tata stula deham atmatvena manvanaha eva tadiya dharman jaramaranadin swikiyan manute tukkam anubhavati cha anyata na anyata nahi sushubtaha stula deha abhimana shunyasya jara rogadi pidite api pida iti bhavaha atah grihavat atyanta भिन्नत्वेन ज्ञेये ahantana yukta iti bhavaha. See, it is very well known in this world who actually wants to, today's world is very relevant today, we can see, a youngster who has no intention to get married. Will he be interested in a house? Nowadays, that's what happens, you know. Of course, the market is also so bad, you cannot get a house. You cannot even get a car. Forget about it. You cannot get a car in this vicinity. There is no car available now for even sale. So who actually would like to get a house or a wife and etc.? Ekam griham ashritya vartamanaha kalatradikam arjayati. Only when you have the concept of living as a family, then there is a need for buying a house, getting a child, getting a wife, starting a family, all that. Nahi grihasya api abhave vivahado prayatate kaschit. One who is not interested in that kind of experience will not even look for or work for buying a house, etc. So it is very clear. Stula deham atmatvena manvanaha. Only the one who is considering the physical body as oneself, tadiya dharman, its own nature, jara maranadin, swakiyan manute. Only such a person who thinks himself as the body will suffer the state of old age, senility, all the incapability of the physical body, dukkham anubhavati na anyata. So, nahi sushuptau stula deha abhimana shunyasya jara rogadi pidita iti bhavaha. The same person who is having hunger, thirst, or feeling weak, etc., does not have the same thing when he is at deep sleep. Sri Ramana Maharshi always would say this point. Who are you when you are sleeping? Are you the body? Does the body say, I am this? Why is that the body is incapable of holding you in captive when you're sleeping? Meaning, is it you holding the body or body is holding you? Body can hold you. Then you are holding the body. Yes. Then you can leave the body also. If I am holding on to a pillar and then complain that pillar is holding me to me, how foolish it is. Pillar is not holding on to you. Similarly, when you are at the deep sleep state, the identification with the physical body on all its conditions are given up. So, ataha, grihavat, like that of a householder, understanding the condition of the house in which he resides, may take care of that, but does not ever consider aham mama grihaha. I am the house I am living. Iti grihavat atyanta भिन्नत्वेन ज्ञेये hantana yukta. Therefore, please be constantly aware that do not consider yourself as the physical body. You are only living in that. At this point, just like a householder is living in the house and never mistakes the house to be himself. That's the idea. So slowly, he brings the point. Naham deha. That idea. I am not the body. We'll see more of it in the next class. We finished up to 90. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhat bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.